Hi there, a very warm welcome to you all to this channel Simply Stocks. And today I'm going to talk about the BSC Auto Index and one of the picks from this space because this looks like a very interesting breakout that we are seeing on the BSC's Auto Index. And all throughout, I feel that over the next year or so, the auto index as well as some of the stocks in the auto space could perform exceedingly well. So let's get started. First of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation and people taking any position to any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research. And I am not in favor or against any company that I talk about. So any position that you talk about or you take positions on and any stock that you take position on, it's completely at your own discretion and I am neither in favor or against whatever stocks that I talk about. And if I am invested in any of the stocks, I'll do mention it while I discuss uh, on the channel. Otherwise, I'm not invested in any of the stocks that I talk about. So before I talk about, you can say the auto index, a small request is kindly support me on Patreon. Once you do that, it help me grow channel, help you also ask me questions and eke out answers in greater detail. Once you get the $10 membership, you'll have access to my portfolio, my watch list, and number of podcasts I put up from time to time. And also, if you can pay $100 upfront, you get 1 year access by paying for 10 months. So that's a 20% discount on Patreon. If you cannot pay on Patreon, you can become a member on YouTube. Thanks for all those who have become member on YouTube. Once we have more than 50 members on YouTube, I'll definitely have a live session exclusively for YouTube members also going on. And you can also become a member on WhatsApp. If you can email me, you can get a yearly WhatsApp membership as well. Now let's talk about the auto industry or the auto index altogether. So basically, just a snapshot on the industry. So basically, the auto industry altogether did not perform that well, and we had a situation where the industry per se had faced a lot of problems with chip shortages, raw material shortages, and whatnot. And this is pretty evident through this chart that I'm going to discuss, and I've taken this from the Money Control website. So let me just enlarge this chart altogether. So this is a 10-year chart of 11-year chart of the Nifty Auto from 2012 till 23. And if you see here, right here, and this was January of 2018, we had a relative long-term peak made just about at the start of 2018 around December 17 and early January, and the peak was made around 26,500, 27,000 or so. And then again we visited this after a huge fall during the pandemic and all. We went all the way down to 10,000 on the index and all, just about 10,000 on the auto index. But we again recovered and recovered big time until November, December 2021. And this was the period when the highs for the small and mid cap market was made. And if you remember 18 months back or about 16 months back, we had this situation where the market made this top, and we had the stocks like IRCTC hitting upper circuits day in day out and reaching 6300, and many other stocks reaching those highs that were not met for the last year and a half or so. So auto index itself went to these levels of closer to 27,000, something like 27,000 or so, and then declined from there. So 27,000 to 27,500 became a strong resistance. Eventually, we were able to take that out. So if I can just reduce this into a 1 year chart, then you'll understand that in November, as I said, 22, we were there and we were hovering around these levels of around 30,000 on this index altogether. But eventually we were able to take this out and were able to do exceedingly well post this. So this is an index that one should be wary about, that one should be talking about 27,000. But over the last, you can say, if you see here, so this was around 27,000 in you can say February and all, which was closer to 28,000. And eventually over the last 6 8 months we were able to take that out, and we are hovering around this. So this level of 26,000, 27,000 was taken out in August, and eventually we are now hovering over it, and we did manage to trace back to 28,000 again in late December in the fall. But now again we have gone over, I mean above those levels of 27,000. So this is an all-time breakout that we are seeing on the index. And in my opinion, this one could just you can say continue for a period which is much greater than what one would feel. So if I just refresh this, then you would have an understanding that if even if you take a look at it from a 6 months perspective, we will see that the index altogether, although it has declined sharply, but we have seen that the performance of some of the stocks have been pretty good. So this is basically a 3 months chart that I'm taking out. So we have seen that on a long-term chart, about 28,000, the breakout took place. We went to 31,000 just recently in February. And from there on in, over the last 1 month, we have had a fall. But even in that fall, we have reached to as low as 28,500 or so. And from there on in, the recovery took place. So around 28,000, we had a top made in 2018, and we have come back to the same levels. And now again we finished in green today, where the market wasn't, I mean, that kind, and the market was falling, but we finished in green, as we see here, 0.5% up, 150 points up. So we are comfortably above those levels of 28,000 that were met say 5 years back around January of 2018, and now it's all set for a move. Now how much that move could be, I feel the move could be anywhere between 35 to 40% over the next couple of years. I feel over the next 18 months we could see a move to of in excess of 30%, probably closer to 40% from these levels. So if we say 28,000 was the breakout level for the index, then we are looking at a situation where the market could be headed somewhere around you can say 11,200 points more than 28,000. So that's around 39,000, 39,200 on the index. Currently also the market is hovering around those levels. We hit 29,000 and below yesterday. So a good 10,000 point upside is possible. We are at 29,200. We are looking at 39,200 coming in the next 18 months. So taking this discussion forward, let's just understand as to which stock probably is perhaps to look at, or where one can find a real value in, which stock we can find a real value in. So in my opinion, let's pick up the best of the lots, because we cannot go down the ladder into auto ancillaries. The reason is we have had issues in Europe and US. So I have picked Eicher Motors, and there is a reason for why I have picked Eicher Motors. If you look at the charts of Eicher Motors on the Screener website, as we see here, one thing is evident. If you look at these 200, this is the black one. You see is the 200 DMA, the 50 DMA is the yellow line. And from these levels, when the 250 DMA in May 22 converged, and we had a seminal decline after that. So from this level of 17th June at 2600, we have had a tremendous rally on Eicher Motors from June of 22. After this golden crossover, we saw that from 2600 the stock went to 3850, 3900, and has declined from there on in. So this was November of 2022, and has declined from there. 3890 was the high, and now it has declined from 3890, 3900 all the way to 3100, a good 25% fall of the stock. But what is most important in here is, and this is where you need to keep strong attention to detail in here. If you look at a 5-year chart or a 10-year chart on Eicher Motors, then you'll see that in 2017, around that time when the Nifty Auto Index or the BSE Auto Index made a top, around September of 2017, it went to 3280 or so. And again in April of 2018, after the auto index had made a high, we went to 3150, 3160. Then the third time in around January of 2021, in the strong bull run, we went to 3000 levels or so. And so this was three times we are going to 3000 and coming back. Eventually, if I take a 1 year chart, eventually we took that out around July of 22, and how we went to 3100, 3150, retraced to 3000, and then the big move began from 26th of July, and the move continued up till you can say end of October, early November. So in just 3 months from those levels of 3000, we went to 3900. 30% in 3 months were made in Eicher Motors, and then the big decline took place, which took the stock from around say levels of 3900 all the way down to 3100 again. So 3100 is where the support lies. So if you see a 10-year chart, this is the line, this is where I'm saying that the biggest support lies, 3180, or you can say 3260, 3120. Even here we have 3000. Then we have at these levels somewhere around 3000, 2980, and again we see here 2950. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 occasions we have had a breakout fail around 3000, and the stock is again at 3100. This is going to be a very strong support. Now where could the stock head after hitting 3100? Let's understand that. If you look at the PE ratio for the company over this say 5-year period, not a 10-year period, the highest PE it went to was in January of 21 in that bull run to around 74, 75. And over this 5-year period, we have had a situation where now the stock is trading from 74 to around 32 at a PE of 32. Remember that Eicher Motors, being one of the marquee brands in the industry, a brand that everybody wanted to have the bullet of Eicher Motors and all. So it has that enigma attached to it. So its PE of 32 is pretty undervalued in that terms. So I feel that its average PE has been 40. I have no doubt that over the next 2 years it could trade around 50 times earnings. Okay, so it's trading at 32 times earnings, and I've calculated that probably, if you look at the numbers, that probably going forward in March, the way the numbers will pan out, eventually in FY23, they are going to come up with an EPS which will be closer to 102 rupees or so. Based on 102 rupees EPS, the stock is trading at around 30 times. So looks very, very interesting. So in my opinion, if you look at the quarterly results, and then I'll talk about the targets, etc. If you look at quarterly results, things started to move forward over the last 2 quarters or so. In September, we had a situation where the stock headed towards where the results were pretty strong, and we went to somewhere around say 3500 or so. So we went to a situation where we went so 3500 was the sales level that we ended up with, and 3700 was the sales level in December. So sales went up sharply from the September and December of 2021, and eventually the profits also went up in a big manner from those levels. So it was around, say, from 373 crores, it went to 657 crores, and in December quarter they had you can say profits of 460 crores, which went up to 740 crores. So if I take that on note, then we have a situation that in the December quarter, the profit went up by around, let me calculate that, and you'll have an understanding, around 60%. That's a pretty big jump, and that's what I expect in the March quarter as well, that in the March quarter we could have a situation where the results will be even stronger and they'll come out with 102 rupees of EPS. Now, based on that fact, I believe that the stock should trade at around 50 times earnings in a very good market over the next year or so. So I won't be surprised if the stock will trade around 5100 levels. So somebody who's looking to buy from a 12 to 18 months perspective, this one looks good at around 3000, 3100. Wait for the auto numbers and then take a call on the stock to buy on dips or on an up move for a 40 to 50% upside over the next 2 years. On Eicher Motors, you can easily ride the auto index rise with Eicher Motors in a safe manner to gain around 35-40% going forward. So this was a video on Eicher Motors. Please like and subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so you can get my video straight away when I post it. And kindly support me on Patreon. Thanks a lot.